Let's bring in the chocolate. We're going to cut the stencil. Each lamination will have 3 slabs. Now let's grab our base. Let's work on the feet. We're going to cut eggs. Now we can connect the egg to the leg. And to make sure it's strong enough, we're going to add some milk chocolate paste. Our next step is going to soften our milk chocolate, transform the nice crystal into paste. It's going to give us some kind of an edible Play-Doh. All we have to do is to spread it evenly and warm it up. And now the milk chocolate is soft, and I'm going to use this to smooth out all the connection between the dark chocolate elements. I'm going to blend everything using the milk chocolate paste and create the toast. What's going to really bring the feet together and make them fun is to have rounded toes here. Exaggerated cartoon-like rounded toes. I love pushing in the details, so even if we're not going to see the bottom, we're still going to spot the real toes. Time for us to cut our glue. We're going to use a half-sphere silicone mold and fill it with tempered chocolate. Then I'm going to take it, refrigerate it, and then unmold it. We're going to glue together the 2 half-spheres. I'm going to attach the glue to the legs to make sure they connect. Then I'm going to use the milk chocolate paste to smooth everything together. We keep on polishing. We're going to have to make sure we keep enough space in the front so it doesn't fall backwards. I'm adding a little bit of this to blend both the legs and the glue together. In order to add a volume with the milk chocolate, I can scrape everything to remove the excess. I'm melting the bottom of the top to create a perfect flat surface and transferring it into a silicone mat, and now it shouldn't wiggle anymore. Once the feet are set, it should peel off easily. Perfect. We're done with the leg, let's work on the torso. And for this, I was thinking of starting by casting the top. Perfect. I'm going to cut the edge, then I'm going to add the milk chocolate to create the top of the torso. Once we have the base of the torso, we can add it to our leg. I'm using a plain metal stripper to smooth everything, and I just adjust it right up. I can then do my torso. Now that we're done with the torso, we can start working on the arm. To get the arms, we're using an acrylic pipe and a little bit of detail sheet in the center. We're going to use our tempered chocolate and spin it gradually to make sure we don't trap any air bubbles. Now that we pour the chocolate into the pipe and it's fully set, we can pull it up. Then we're going to cut both the upper arm and the forearm. I am extruding some of the paste to create the perfect socket for the arm to lock in position. Then I'm going to add paste on it to create the muscle definition and the elbow. When this will be ready, we'll be able to glue it to the body. Then we're going to create a little bit of a shoulder definition, a little bit of a tricep, sometimes just the tiniest bit of dimension brings life. We're going to accentuate the elbow and do slightly your forearm, finishing narrow for the wrist. Perfect. We're going to be able to attach both arms, and we're going to give them a little bit of life. One arm, I'm imagining moving a little bit like this, holding the carrot, and the other one will have a little bit of an attitude holding down the belt. So we're just using our soft base and putting our arm in. And I anticipate that the hands will be somewhere here on the belt. I'm going to use the milk chocolate paste to add the color of the shirt. Perfect. I like the body position and the proportion. It feels to me that it's sturdy enough, although it seems to be wanting to tilt backwards. So I'm hoping I will be able the head in some weights on the front. The next part, the head. We have a pipe, we have a sphere. We're going to connect them together. I know it doesn't look like a head right now, but trust the process, bear with me. So once we added the rough cheeks and the forehead, I'm going to use my sculpting tools and remove some of the excess and try to polish everything. We're going to add the eyebrows. You can look weird at first. Now that we've made good progress on the head, I'm going to cut it in two. So I'm going to cut the head up, open the head. I'm going to put a sphere here. It's going to create the back of the throat. So later we're going to add the teeth, the jaw, and here I'm going to slide my fake eyes, and then I'm going to take the top of the head and the bottom, close it, open position, perfect. Now that the head is done, we can add the ears. I'm going to measure everything to make sure we're still very proportional. I think this should be about right. And then I can kind of fold it to give it more dimension, more life. Now I can take my ear stencil. I use a metal spike to trace around the stencil. Just enough to get my second ear. Perfect. I'm going to lift my ear. Then quickly fold it. Perfect. Let's try it. Nice. Okay, I'm going to get strong attachment point here by storing all of it the base of the head, warming it with the blowtorch. And now we're going to push Judy's here deep inside. Perfect. Now we're going to have to let it set so the ears can stay in position before we glue the head onto the body. Thankfully I was able to catch it. So I don't have to restart from scratch. Cool. Look at this guy. Alright, now is the exciting time of putting the head onto the body. Now I'm going to need your help. What do you think is better? This or that? I feel this wish has a little bit more attitude. But here you can be kind of looking at the threads. I think we should do this. Alright, now that the head is glued on, we can focus on the hands. And for this, I casted some chocolate truffle that I'm going to put on the tip of my fingers and dip it in cold water. This should create exactly the hand position I want. Plus I can bend my finger to get a good grip on the carrot. Put the truffle on the finger, and then we can dip it into the chocolate. This is so satisfying. And then, to make it set, I'm going to dip it in cold water. Look, before it's set. So cold. Good. I can scratch with my fingernail. I think I'm able to twist it off my finger right away. Perfect. I'm trimming the leaves of the fingers to make sure they're even, and then I'm going to place them into our soft milk chocolate paste. Like the 3-finger first, and push them deep inside the milk chocolate paste, curve them towards the center a little, hold the pencil, then the thumb. We're ready to do the hand. Perfect position right here. Before we can spray, we have to make sure everything is super smooth. So I'm using a metal ball sprayer, and I'm going to go all over the body, ready to be sprayed. Nice. In order for me to spray the whole body, I think it would be easier for me to cut off the hand at the wrist and then spray them separately, glue them back later. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to get inside the hands onto the body. So I know it kind of feels weird, but I think I'm just going to have to do it. Nice. Alright, we're ready to spray. Let's go. So I will start by spraying the lightest color, the blue shirt. Now that the shirt is done, I'm going to spray the pants with a darker blue. Now that I've protected every blue element, I am ready to texture the face, the hands, and the tail. This will give her a fur-like effect. Now that we're done with the texture, I'm going to spray a lighter gray circle and using a larger ring, I'm going to center the ring around the pupil and spray the first layer of purple. We're going to finish the eyes by spraying a thin halo of black all the way around the purple color we've created. Alright, last touch, we spray white. Alright, before we cast it with dark shellfish, we can have a sneak peek at what it should look like. Alright, we have our tempered shellfish. I have to go kind of fast doing this, so they all have the same thickness. Alright, for removing excess. Alright, 5 minutes and we can unfold. So I put a little bit of black on the eyelid, and I can remove the eye and then put our shiny one. And the goal is to minimize the fingerprint. Nice. Next, to give it even more light, I'm going to give a little bit of reflection by doing one white dot between the iris and the pupil. To finish the facial features, all I have to do is to put the teeth in and create the eyebrows. I'm applying a plastic dot. I'm just going to draw them on, then I will transfer them onto a piece of tape, create this pencil, and apply it onto his head. Alright, once we're ready, we're just going to do a light shadow to make the eyebrows. I'm going to try a technique I've never done before to create eyelashes on Judy's face. Hopefully it will work. Alright, we have a frozen side. I made a full of tempered chocolate. Let's go. Then I can peel them off by slicing them. Now I'm going to use tweezer, grab them, and glue them directly on the chocolate. It is such a tedious work to apply those lashes one by one. This really brings life to them. Okay, now that we have the eyes and the lashes on, we can start focusing on the little details, starting with the belt. Let's wrap it around the waist. Cool. Now it's time to make a modeling chocolate. I put my syrup, pour it into my chocolate and blue colorant, give it a little swirl, cool it down, and it's ready. Now we're going to be able to use our blue modeling chocolate to do the vest, the gloves, and the feet. I have the modeling chocolate. I'm going to use a wheel cutter to cut my shapes. One goes in the front, one goes in the back. I kind of textured it to add a little bit more pizzazz to it. Now we can chew it, and with a little bit of water, we're going to apply it as the bullet vests. We're at the stage where we can start assembling our silver rivet onto our satchel. I gave it a little camel effect, and then we can do it onto the belt.